Build a Nation type of Football Manager save is one of the best ideas to dive into a career. It's not only about the story of your club rising to the top, but also the entire nation. You can do that by many different ways, one of them being a loan farm, where you purchase a ton of players to just loan them out to other clubs in the league. But you're always stuck in a dilemma. Essentially, where do you go? There are just so many countries and clubs to choose from, and today's video is going to solve that dilemma. We'll limit our save choices to Europe only, because it is very easy to measure your progress here. How? Just look at the coefficients. Doesn't mean you cannot perform this type of save in, say, Asia and win the World Cup with Kyrgyzstan. There are 28 candidates, and we need to determine the top 10 nations, from which we'll also pick 3 great clubs to manage. We automatically exclude the top 7 leagues, because you can't really build a new nation there, and Russia, because it's banned from UEFA competitions. I created a quite simple system to determine which nation is the best to manage in. It's just a couple of simple criteria, including the amount of tiers, teams on top tier, youth rating, registration rules, or if it's a summer season, because we need to align it to UEFA competitions. Now, let's go with the top 10. And we started with the only league with a summer season. Sweden. You have an okay pool of talent in this country and a wide choice of teams available, with 4 tiers of Swedish football being at your disposal. There are also no registration rules, but my problem is this. In a 20-man roster, you need 9 people to be trained in Sweden. Meeting this homegrown quota will massively hinder your ability to sign foreign players. There's always a catch, it seems. If you decide to go to Sweden though anyway, you may pay attention to Hammarby TFF from the 3rd division. Their stadium is located just 3 kilometers away from a top tier side, Hammarby IF, who are partially owned by none other than Zlatan Ibrahimovic. If you want a top tier challenge though, you can also give a go to AIK Solna, who are on sort of a dry spell following their 2018 championship. And if you want to go super up north, your destination will be PTA IF from the 3rd tier. Now you might be surprised, but despite absolutely zero registration in squad rules, Hungary is just in the 9th place. Having no registration rules is perfect, but you still need a homegrown quota for UEFA, which requires a decent youth intake. And Hungary's youth rating is barely 68. Don't believe me? Check out JLab TV's Build a Nation save. He's not got a decent youth intake in a couple of seasons. The best clubs to play are usually based in Budapest, including Honvéd, who were relegated from the top flight last season. If you want to start in the 1st tier though, there's also a club named Újpest in the capital, who just got a new owner, and a lack of league titles since 1998. If you want to move somewhere else though, Győr doesn't have a club in the top flight despite being one of the biggest cities, and Győri ETO FC seem to be an ideal fit to bring the top Hungarian football there. We don't go far from Győr, because we are just crossing the border to visit Austria in the 8th place. You will start from a good position, because not only do you have a decent domestic competition in RB Salzburg, but also Austria is 10th in the coefficient rankings. You don't have pretty much any registration rules either, just like in Hungary. This land is literally a heaven for your army of Brazilian wonderkids. Despite just an okay youth rating, you can still build a fantastic new powerhouse here, and still have a team constantly challenging you. When it comes to the best clubs, we will list 2 propositions from the 2nd tier. The first one being SV Ried, who, to my personal surprise when I found it out, have never won the league title. The other choice would be, and that team you may be aware of, Floridsdorfer AC. You might know them from a certain FM22 save. And if you want a hard challenge in the 1st tier, you can build a new rival for a club in the city of Linz, Lask. We're talking about Blau-Weiß Linz, but given their in depth, it will be a financial challenge. In 7th place there's Czechia, in which I personally have my own FM24 save with SFC Opava. The full list is available on the top right of your screen. There's a rule regarding homegrown talent, but you just need 4 players trained in Czechia, as well as there's a limit of 5 non-EU players in the squad. You won't bother about it though for the first couple of seasons, and as an example, I just got the ability to scout the entire world in Season 5 and I am still not doing it. This did not stop me from signing a Uruguayan wonderkid. You will make up for the non-EU limits with a decent youth rating. Best clubs? Well, I guess the answer is obvious. SFC Opava, the club from the capital of Czech Silesia. However, if you want to combine the Build a Nation with Fallen Giants save, 11-time Czechoslovak champions Dukla Prague will do. And if you want to start from the top tier, you can take charge of an excellent academy in Baník Ostrava, also the biggest rivals of Opava. So don't take them. Or else. It's a bit of a surprise package for me, but Greece makes it into 6th place. You will have a good level of domestic competition in the league. Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, PAOK Saloniki and AEK Athens will be a challenge to overcome. The rules are also quite simple. You can register pretty much anyone with a 99 player squad limit, even if it means you can have only 5 non-EU players in the match squad. The youth rating will assure that you meet UEFA's homegrown quota, and with that, you can have a fantastic time in Greece. But with which side? For the first choice, I'm not looking anywhere outside OFI Crete. They are a top tier team, but nowhere near the top 4. These are the 5 Greek teams that claimed all, and I mean all, league titles since 1927. Well, no, not quite. There's a team with a single league title called AEL Larissa, who won it in 1988. Maybe you are the one to repeat that fairy tale story. The second Greek division is split into a North and South group, and we'll go to an island of Rhodes to visit PAE Diagoras, named after an ancient boxer who won the Olympic Games twice. Maybe it's time to make him an inspiration for the club's success in the island. The next country is going to surprise you. Despite some harsh registration rules, Turkey makes it into 5th. It partially is thanks to a start that is relatively easy to the rest of the leagues, but also challenging. You will need to topple the likes of Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Trabzonspor and Besiktas. You also get the highest youth rating out of any nation in this top 10, as well as a wide choice of clubs. Not only you do have 20 teams in the Super League, but you also get 3 tiers, with the third one separated into 2 groups of 19. The facilities level will still vary, but at least it's no problem with money in many of the sides. One of them being Göztepe from the second division. There's also a club with a massive stadium and great facilities, but in the third tier. Bursaspor. They need your help to step up, and if you want a top tier side, there are a multitude of teams in Istanbul, and for this top 3, I am recommending Kasimpasa with excellent training facilities. It looks like I keep choosing decent nations for my YouTube saves, as Denmark lands in 4th. This goes down to UEFA-alike rules when it comes to the homegrown quota. You do need 3 players trained in the club and 8 in Denmark, which keeps you on track for the Champions League regulations. It won't be a problem though with an OK youth rating. At least there are no foreign players rules, although you will have to deal with work permits for players outside the European Union. Luckily, it's only about the minimum wage. There is a wide choice of clubs in this Scandinavian country. You have 4 tiers available, and wherever you go, you will enjoy the challenge. I personally manage Randers FC, a mid-table team from the top Danish tier. Again, the series is available on YouTube. However, if you want to go somewhere lower, Esbjerg from the 3rd division have good facilities. And if you want a bigger challenge, you can create the new Aarhus Derby. Aarhus Fremad is in the 3rd tier too. For me, this is the biggest surprise on the list. Ukraine has made it to the 3rd place. The rules in this country are fairly simple to follow. All you need is a homegrown quota identical to the one in UEFA competitions, and the only limit you have is 7 foreign players on the pitch. Unfortunately, you're not likely to convert Brazilians into Ukrainians most of the time, but you get a pretty good youth rating, which makes it a tad easier when it comes to the signings at a host of decent clubs, with Shakhtar Donetsk and Dynamo Kiev coming up on top. You also start with 5 European qualification slots and can make some huge money through player sales. Just look at Mikhailo Mudryk. If I was to manage in Ukraine, I'll probably take a side from the city of Lviv. Ruk is a relatively new club being set up in 2003 and playing in a Euro 2012 stadium. Their city rivals, and the club probably a little bit more known, is Karpaty Lviv, but they are now playing in the 2nd tier. And if you want to go to Kiev and not manage Dynamo, Obolon are a newly promoted side you could have a look at. Just short of the winning slot went Belgium, a country relatively easy to build a nation in. You instantly start from the 8th place, and attacking a top 7 spot will be easy, especially considering a very good youth rating. The only reason Belgium did not win is down to the registration and squad rules. You need 6 people developed in Belgium for at least 3 years, and whilst, as we said, youth rating, facilities and money will make up for that rule, it definitely somewhat hinders you from signing anyone you want. I was wondering whether to put Belgium in this ranking at all, but I thought there is someone who needs to guide them to a final push to become a top league and win the World Cup, and it could be you. If you would like to start from the top tier, Standard Liège have fallen off recently. They have not stepped into the podium since 2019, and this season seems to be another mid-table finish. But if you want to create them a competitive city rival, check out RFC Liège from the 2nd division. And I'm also giving a shout out to Zulte Waregem, recently relegated from the 1st division. I wanted to make a save with them in FM22, but dropped the idea quickly. So maybe you can make it going. I did not script this, but it's Poland who won. I have never played in this country, but having a deeper look, I understand why it won the ranking. You may only have 2 playable tiers, but you also get 18 teams in each, making it a wide and spread out competition in the Ekstraklasa and 1st division. There are also little registration rules. They align with UEFA rules, and in fact Poland lost points for one of the principles. You need to give 3000 minutes to under 22 domestic players, which for me is mental. Why not make it that strict, have a U22 player on the pitch? I don't know. The youth rating is at 94, which is a fairly decent result for this country, especially with fine facilities. My go-to when it comes to choosing a club is essentially Silesia. If you decide to manage in Poland, you have 2 fallen giants who both won 14 league titles, Ruch Chorzów and Górnik Zabrze. Very fierce rivals. Both of these teams are struggling to get back to their golden era for over 30 years each, and Ruch especially went for a remarkable fall and rise from 1st to 4th to 1st tier in 7 years. However, if you want to go somewhere else, Polonia Warszawa will make it a challenge too, won the title twice, also got dropped to the 5th tier around 10 years ago, and are on the slow way back up, currently fighting for survival in the 2nd tier. So these are the top 10 countries and 30 clubs included in this video. Now it's time for you to decide where to go. What is your next destination? Or where are you playing right now? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to follow our story of building a nation with SFC Opava, it is displayed on your screen right now.